The dilemma, Duvida, how to handle the Chinese barbaric act on Indian soldier is before Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The same dilemma was faced by Nehru, though the conditions at that time and in today's world is much different. Chinese PLA attacked Indian soldiers with nail-studded rods in Golwan Valley. 20 lost their lives after 1967 at Nathula in Sikkim. This was the first military engagement between the two nations. A nearly newspaper quoted in China, India better figure out how to obtain international trust. What sort of mindset lead them to write this? To understand this, we must go back to history. In 1941, when Japanese invaded China, it was Indian National Congress who dispatched a medical mission under Dr. Kotnis, who died in action. After gaining independence in 1947, India started its diplomatic relation with Kuomintang Nationalist Party. After CPC, that is Communist Party of China, hold the power in 1949, India was the first non-communist country to recognize it. Remember that this was the Cold War era. In 1950, China invaded Tibet. India didn't intervene as China retreated that it was their internal matter. In 1954, Panchshil, 5 points so as to have peaceful coexistence with China. Nehru was so enamored by the socialist ideals that he never thought that a socialist progressive force will play hard power politics of imperial power. In reply, what India got? In 1954, Indian map included Aksai Chin. China built a road on it. China refused McMahon Line defining eastern border. In 1959, India provided asylum to Dalai Lama. Immediately, the response of China was China demanded thousands of square kilometers of area from India. Demanded Aksai Chin on exchange of Northeast. Even Nikita Khrushchev rebuked China but of no use, and therefore the war of 1962 was forced upon a newly independent state struggling with its own problem. The war ended and the consequences of war were freeze in Sino-Indian relationship. China-Pakistan alliance after Bangladesh war in 1971, Indian-Soviet treaty in 1971. China has become a global factory. Only 3% output in 1980s. Now it's above 24%. China joined WTO in 2001 and made the whole world their market. 70% mobiles, 60% shoes, 50% steel, 50% Apple are produced by China to the world. Not only this, 60% of luxury goods are produced by them. If one search on Google, the list will go on and on and on. So the question arises what they do to get such a high rate of production. So the things they do are, number one would be mass production and dumping. The quantity of produced is huge. Therefore, they dump it in underdeveloped and developing countries at such a low cost that the country becomes dependent on them, and at the same time the local or the indigenous products suffer. Reverse manufacturing, cloning, copying, whatever you want to say, it doesn't want to waste money on R&D, it just copies it. Productive labor, cause of education and skill development, China seriously felt the need of it. So they have got productive labor. But in recent times, a news came from Australia that a Chinese student was being spied by Chinese government. Shows there is no liberty, freedom, etc. there in China. They can spy on anybody whenever they like. Fourth one is stability, dictatorship. So there is no opposition, only one party and stability. It is very obvious. Industrial network clustering, all the material for the finished product is available and produced by them only. Last but not the least one, currency manipulation. To help their economy and trade, they manipulate currency. They manipulate it so that it can help them in trade. Every investor moves towards China because of these factors. And here one has to remember that the state government or the Chinese government or the communist government of China helps them in doing that. Now the question crops up, if they had such a huge stack of money, what they do with it? The world would be neo-colonized sooner or later. Let's take an example of few continents here. Africa, Asia, even Australia and Europe are not untouched by it. Let's take an example of Africa and Asia. 3.2 billion rail network from Nairobi to Mombasa in Kenya. Dam is being constructed in Guinea. A railway network at Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Electricity project in Zambia. In 2070, for the first time, it built its military base outside its country, military base in Djibouti. Hambantota in Sri Lanka, purchased island on lease from Maldives. China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, Gwadar Port crux to CPEC project. China is fully aware of the fact that there is very less chance that it will get back the return. But the country invests. If not money, then the territory for all kind of use, especially the strategic point of view. China is making the world dependent on them. In return, what they will get? They will get all the geopolitical access to different countries. That is what is happening right now. Trade relation. Current status of trade between India and China is USD 85 billion. With China being one of the largest trading partners, Chinese export to India in 2019 was USD 68 billion and India's export to China was USD 16.96 billion. India has a great trade deficit of $50 billion, which is huge. At present, India imports high-value products like electronic items, etc. China has been the most important source of FDI, foreign direct investment in India. According to Commerce and Industry Ministry, FDI from China was 1.8 billion between 2015 and 2019. Automobile, electrical equipment, book printing, services and electronics were attracting investment. 70% of phone market in India is captured by China. 3/4 of plant running on Chinese machinery. Antibiotics 81%, semiconductor devices 82%, pharma ingredients 75%, telecom equipment 73%, 1.25 billion iron ore plant in Karnataka. Apart from this, Zomato, Paytm, Oppo, Vivo, Snapdeal, Baiju, Flipkart, Big Basket, Ola, City Mall, Swiggy, SmartChat, etc. are in relation with China. Whether it's South China Sea, where Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, China and Taiwan are party to the conflict, or their Hong Kong-Taiwan issue, China is just trying to buy allies through debt trap. No independent media, clone social networking sites such as YouQ, WeChat, which flourish under the government censorship. Railways cancel their contracts. BSNL cancelled contract. We are uninstalling Chinese app. We have now stopped buying Chinese product. It is understandable that it will not swipe away in one day. There are critical sectors also. Pharma, for instance. The supply chain. the monopoly of Chinese government and Chinese people on some of the product. Wearing a mask, the Chinese money comes to India, so it will be really hard for us. As in the beginning I said, it's a dilemma and greatest challenge for the Prime Minister of India and at the same time to the Indians. Indians are ready to boycott and they are seeing it as a blessing in disguise, as to make India Atmanirbhar Bharat. COVID, now the Chinese barbaric inhuman attack on Indian soldiers. We have no other option but to be Atmanirbhar.